Hey, Facebook, Motu Revolution just dropped this weekend. It was amazing. If you didn't like Revelation, you will love Revolution. And also, if you loved Revelation, you will love Revolution. It was jam packed with Easter eggs, particularly when we found out who Shatner was playing. Fortunately, I'm part of a lot of different Motu communities that really helped with this. And mostly, big shout out to Dad at Arms, who's been posting like crazy about what all the Easter eggs are. But I thought I'd put them all together in one video for everybody, mostly for myself. But take a look. Here's all the Easter eggs that we found in Motu Revolution.
Behold, my stuff.
All right, so the first thing that we're going to look at is the Scare Glow Easter eggs from episode 1. Everything you see here is a depiction of something significant from the Motu universe, but it doesn't necessarily tie to a specific character. So we're going to look at each one at a time. The one that stands out prominently is this cauldron. It looks like it might be a horde item. It's actually not. This is actually the cauldron from Reign of the Monster, which is season 1, episode 10. It looked a little different in the show, and if you remember, it actually had that pink liquid in it with the pink smoke, but the reference is pretty clear. It's also the only episode without Prince Adam in it. So the next item that we're going to be looking at is actually really, really cool. This is one of a lot of people's favorites from the Filmation. This is Chakotay's death mask. This is from season 1, episode 40, which is a 2-part episode. If you don't know who Chakotay is, then you really should dive into that. It was a big classics figure. It's one of the more sought-after figures. Had a really cool pyramid. This is how the mask appears in the actual episode. I believe this is from part 2, this reference. But it was a big castle pyramid in the sands. It was a really cool episode towards the end of season 1. This one everybody knows, Diamond Ray of Disappearance, season 1, episode 1, 1983. This is where basically Skeletor uses this to banish all the characters into another dimension. And of course, He-Man has to rescue everybody. It's depicted like this in the episode. And because it's depicted like this, Factory Entertainment has actually issued a replica of this. You can actually go and buy this from Factory Entertainment, and that looks like this. So we're really, really certain that that's what this is. So very, very cool Easter eggs from season 1 of Motu from the Filmation series in this first episode. This is the only one that's not referencing the show. This is the Cosmic Clock from the Golden Time books, Time Trouble, written by Roger Mackenzie. It was drawn by Luis Eduardo Barreto? Not sure how to pronounce that. It was done in 1984. This is the cover itself. It's a really, really cool series of comics, but these are not canon with the Filmation series. So you can see this already. Motu's bringing in all the different stuff. That takes care of pretty much everything from the Scare Glow scene that we found. Again, big shout out to Dad at Arms online. It can be found on X, Twitter, for most of that information. But here's a couple things that I found that I thought were pretty cool. My favorite one was when Keldor first awakens in Skeletor's mind, and he says, "I'm laughing at the superior intellect," which is, of course, an epic quote from Wrath of Khan. The next thing we're going to do is dive into some of the more obscure Easter eggs throughout the series. So this is Motherboard in Castle Grayskull. Meg Foster voiced Evil Lynn in 1987's Motu. Apropos of which, you'll see that with the skull, the eyes, the half circle on the bottom, the wings coming out, it really references the 1987 Castle Grayskull design, which for a lot of us was hit or miss. I loved 87 Motu, so really love to see Meg Foster's character creating that sort of design, and love me some 87 Motu. Speaking of that, you'll notice this clip from 87 Motu, the pink Cadillac, which Gwildor converted. Gwildor did make reference to them going on the adventure across the universe and things like that, and many of us felt that it canonized this movie, at least the events of this movie, with Revolution, which was great. Here's the pink Cadillac in the background out in front of Gwildor's hut, which is designed exactly as it appears in actual the film. So, in my opinion, it's the same Gwildor, it's the same adventure, it referenced that this happened. So it canonized the movie for me, and many others. This is Snake Teela. This is how she appeared in the trailer. A lot of people didn't know what this was about. So when Teela gets the power of Ka, she turns into Snake Teela. When Teela was originally announced, she was Teela Ra, or known as the Goddess of Eternia. And she was depicted very famously in the mini-comics like this. She had green skin and everything. And this was supposed to be the sorceress. It later got reworked, but I like seeing that little reference. 2000X also had a Snake Man Teela to kind of reference this a little bit. So it was a cool little shout out to old school Teela, how she originally appeared as a figure. Here's just a fun little Easter egg at the end in Preternia. We see off to the side the gentleman with the arrow over his head. That's Sunman. So Sunman, very, very famous for toy collectors, recently got released in the Masterverse. So nice to see Sunman up there. This is the scene where Keldor is training with Hordak. We all know this. This is, of course, a playset from Motu. They just found a way to work in every single toy there is, and I just absolutely loved this working its way in. Here's the big one. You notice that the arrow in the upper left, you'll see there's an upright crib with a Cringer toy. The crib turned over has a unicorn toy. That is because this is a reference to Hordak stealing He-Man's twin sister, who we all know becomes She-Ra, but was depicted as Despera at the end. This is a tapestry, and it is referencing the four towers. You can see the three staves below, and the four towers above, three from Preternia, and that mysterious fourth one. Some people have said, well, what is the fourth tower? Well, if we take a closer look at the fourth tower, we can see that there's definitely this sort of head of Skeletor's chaos staff, and, just kind of looks like Mount Doom from Voltron, but not 100% sure what it is, but I'm sure we're going to get more about it. It may be referencing something from She-Ra, but it's cool. So those were the main Easter eggs that I was most concerned with. Obviously, those references to the 87 He-Man film really, really got to me. Particularly Keith David reiterating Frank Langella's line, which was also reiterated by Mark Hamill in Revelation. I loved it. So very, very excited that they may actually flesh out Despera and that whole storyline, but we'll just have to wait and see. But at least the Easter egg acknowledged its existence, her existence, and that storyline. But they pretty much had me at Keldor, and I couldn't be happier with this version of He-Man. In my opinion, it's the ultimate version of He-Man. It's the best version of He-Man. Thank you, Kevin Smith. Thank you guys for tuning in. And if you haven't seen it, go check it out.